Hi everyone, I'm Li Xing, the founder of DirectPhD. Let me start by telling you a little about myself. I hold a master's degree in language testing from the University of Warwick in the UK and a fully funded PhD from the United States. I've been a visiting scholar at the University of Cambridge, and I serve as an official reviewer for the APIA scholarship. I've spent 17 full years now in international education, and specifically in PhD admissions. These days, my husband and I are settled in Portugal. It's been 6 years, and we have 3 wonderful children. My whole career has been spent inside the world of elite universities and academic research. I've seen countless top institutions actually make their admissions decisions. I understand the underlying rules of how scholarships get reviewed. And most of all, I know what truly outstanding students are really missing when they aim for the very top PhD programs in the US and the rest of the English-speaking world. It's almost never just GPA. It's never just publication. What they're missing is one precise judgment about the right path and professional guidance across the entire journey. A lot of parents first came across me on social media. On platforms, every single day, I share practical, no-fluff knowledge about studying abroad. And what my team does, the lane we've always been in, is high-end admissions to the very top PhD programs in the US, Singapore, Hong Kong, UK, Europe, Australia, and Canada. Many of these students are already very impressive. High GPA, strong language scores, native English language speakers, profile that looks great on paper. And yet, they still can't quite reach their dream program. I've always believed one thing: anyone, no matter how outstanding a student is, always has room to grow. Always has details worth refining. Just like even the greatest athletes still sweat on small details, even the most brilliant students has countless blind spots in an application that they simply can't see on their own. The underlying logic of the personal statement, matching a research background precisely to the right professor, the hidden rules of applying for scholarships, the high-level way you answer in interview, the long-term academic path that runs all the way from undergrad through a master's or a PhD. Many of the students I take on come from places like top US undergraduate programs, or from China like Tsinghua or other elite 985 universities. They're already among the very best of their peers. And even then, my team can polish their profile to its absolute peak. We can take a vague advantage and turn into a precise competitive edge and lift their admission odds, the tier of programs they reach, and their shot at a full scholarship up to one more level. Here's the truth. At the level we work at, PhD admissions stopped being about tweaking one essay or bumping up one test score a long time ago. I truly believe this. An ordinary study abroad application competes on paperwork. High-end, top-tier PhD admissions compete on something else entirely. Big picture strategy, academic thinking, access to the right circles, and a long-term growth mindset. Many parents only look at the surface, at the grades, at the GPA. I look for further down the road. Will this student actually fit into a top PhD academic environment? Can they win a scholarship? Can they find their footing at an elite PhD program and grow there for the long term? We don't just aim to help a student get an offer. We help close the gaps in their academic understanding, map out their research path, ease the anxiety that comes with applying, and protect the confidence they need to go after a top PhD program. And all of these rests on getting that very step right, the judgment about which path to take. This is exactly why so many top families insist on working with someone who lives inside the world of elite universities, who understands how decisions get reviewed, and who actually make the call instead of an assembly line agency, instead of being handed off to a salesperson. Almost every parent who chooses us eventually asks the same question. Miss Lee, why does your all-inclusive service cost this much? It's so much higher than the regular agencies. So let me be completely honest with you today. No beating around the bush. It really comes down to two things. First, what we do isn't an application service. It's a long-term decision about your child's path. And second, the real value of this service is hidden in the system and the investment behind it, the parts you never actually see. First of all, when a parent feels we are expensive, at the root is because they are picturing PhD admissions as just writing essays and submitting applications. If that were really all it was, then yes, the price wouldn't make any sense because every assembly line service looks about the same from the outside. But for a family that genuinely treats education as a long-term investment, what they care about was never the price of a single service. It's the difference. This one choice will make 10, even 20 years down the road. The first thing we do is never to write materials. It's to judge which path this student should be on in the first place. We look at what the professors are actually working on, where the field is heading, and where this particular student's abilities can genuinely be taught and supported. If we get that judgment wrong, then all the effort that comes after is just accelerating down the wrong track. In the same way, a lot of people assume the essay decides the outcome. But in practice, what really shapes the result is whether you are understood correctly. What a student hands us is usually a scattered set of experiences. What a professor needs to see when they make their judgment is a clear arc of ability and future potential. If you can't build that picture in the first few minutes, you won't get another chance to be understood more deeply. So what we do is take those fragments and reorganize them into a structure that can be understood and judged, and then connect the structure to the real research questions of a specific professor. This is exactly why some students try for a long time and get nothing. But the moment they are placed inside the right structure, things start to change very quickly. Only after all of that comes the outreach itself. A lot of people think reaching out to professors is a numbers game. In reality, it's a question of rhythm and timing. When you send it, who you send it to, how you follow up at each round. Every one of these details directly affects whether a professor is willing to spend the time to keep talking with you. Sometimes a single misjudgment is all it takes to miss an opportunity you could have built. So what you finally see might just be a few emails and a few replies. But those results stand on top of every single layer of judgment beforehand being right. It's an entire system, not just one step done a little better. Now, let me compare a cheap service with what we do. Side by side, what's the model at a low-cost agency? Big patch assembly lines, template essays, cookie-cutter, copy-paste backgrounds, resources thrown together carelessly. No deep academic digging, no one-on-one PhD level refinement. They just submit the materials, and whether you get in comes down to luck. A service like that, of course, is cheap. But our higher price exists because it has to support an entire system that can't be stripped down or simplified. 1. A team of US faculty mentors, my own personal involvement throughout the whole process. One-on-one refinement of the profile, the research, the papers. Not an assistant on an assembly line. 2. I hold the inside logic of how the APIA scholarship is revealed. So we help a student apply for a fall scholarship with a real precision, not by just blindly firing off applications. 3. Genuine connections and resources at top universities in the US and the rest of and other countries. So strengthening a background takes no wrong turns, and it's never just vague general talk. 4. Full preparation for the professor outreach, intensive interview training, and original, deeply customized essays. No templates. Every single document is built to fit both the student and the professor. 5. Long-term academic planning. from undergrad all the way through a master's or PhD. We don't just aim to help you get an offer, we safeguard your child's academic future. And here's the more important output. And forgive me for being blunt. We could choose to lower the price, but the moment we do, this entire system stops working. We could no longer spend this much time reading each professor's publication. We could no longer rebuild the whole approach around each individual student. We could no longer keep making careful judgments at every critical moment. In the end, it would all collapse into templates, into batches, into process, and the results would inevitably become template batch results too. That is not the work we're here to do. For every student I'm working with right now, I personally take part in the judgment and the process of each student every day. I look into each student's situation myself. I'm there for the decisions at the key moments. I don't simply hand the whole thing over to an executive team, because PhD admissions at its core is not just a process problem, it's a decision problem. And decision making, by its very nature, cannot be outsourced. And precisely because of that, my team doesn't take on too many students. Behind every single student is a complete investment, from judgment all the way through execution. Not something a standardized process can quickly copy, if they can copy at all. If we took on too many people, the system itself wouldn't hold. So we limit the number of spots in each round, and that's why so many parents find that the spots always seem to fill up fast. Finally, I like to borrow a famous line attributed to Picasso to explain the value of what my team and I do. Someone asks Picasso why a drawing that took him a minute was worth the price of a whole meal. He said, this wasn't just 1 minute, it was 50 years of mastery plus this 1 minute. My service is exactly the same. What a parent is buying isn't simply a few essays and a few conversations. It's 17 years deep in this field, plus a PhD from elite universities, plus the academic perspective I gained at Cambridge, plus an insider view of scholarship reviewer, plus thousands of cases of admission to top PhD programs. All of it is focused one-on-one on your child. What you pay is today's service fee. What you actually draw on is a lifetime of experience, resources, perspective, and connections that are built up. For us, the essence of this work was never completing one application. It's taking responsibility for the judgment of a student's future path. One right choice can mean a difference of a decade, even decades, in research, in career trajectory, in income. One wrong choice usually takes far longer to recover from. So the price itself is really just an outcome, a reflection of this whole system, this investment, and this judgment. If you only want to give the process a try, there's certainly a cheaper way to do it. But if you're making the genuine important decision about your child's future, then what you care about usually isn't only the price, it's whether the whole thing is being taken serious. And if you look across this entire field, the people doing real full-service, high-end admissions for the top schools in the US and in the other major countries, our pricing sits right at the top standard of the industry. There has never been any inflated markup. Finally, I want to say something honest, straight from the heart. All the ordinary parents watching. On my social platforms, on my feed, I give away a huge amount of study abroad knowledge for free. Guides to avoid the pitfalls in top PhD applications, strategies for applying to scholarships. I never charge for any of that. Anyone can watch it. Anyone can learn from it. If you just want a basic understanding of a study abroad or map out the fundamentals of your prep, my free content alone can absolutely help you. Our full-service PhD applications package is only for one kind of family. Families aiming for the very ceiling, the top PhD programs in the US, Singapore, Hong Kong, UK, Canada, Australia. Fully customized service. Who want a long-term academic safety net and who are willing to invest deeply in the best possible future for their child. I never make my money off ordinary people, and I never sweet talk a family with a simpler needs into blindly signing up for an expensive program. High-end custom work matches only high-end needs. crystal clear and completely above board. A lot of people are also curious. I'm settled in Europe. I have 3 children, so why am I still this devoted to high-end admissions work? Because I'm a mother myself, and I'm also someone from the academic world of elite universities. I understand deeply what parents hope for their children, and I understand that restless determination in an outstanding kid who refuses to give up on their dream school. My original purpose was never to run a high-priced business. It was this: to use my own credentials, my resources, my 17 years of experience to help genuinely outstanding students earn the top PhD offer that should have been theirs all along. To help families avoid every major pitfall along the way and to turn every bit of what they invest into a lifetime of academic confidence for their child. We don't do assembly lines. We don't chase quick money. We only do high-end custom work, extremely professional and extremely responsible. Choosing us isn't choosing a study abroad agency. It's choosing a long-term partner for the whole academic journey. Someone who understands elite universities, understand how PhD admissions are really decided, and understand how a child grows.